Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is the Two Old Farts. My name's Chuck.
I'm Lou on the butt licking the two old farts.
Okay, we're gonna
You
we're
know,
gonna keep doing that every week, huh?
that's right. We're
Every
going to do it
episode.
every week. You're not going to argue?
No, I'm not gonna argue. Does it do any good?
Nope. Won't do any good at all.
I didn't think so. I just I'll tell you
One
one
minute,
thing I didn't forget to do. I didn't forget to turn on the mixer. I can hear just fine.
like last week when the girls were
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could hear it, but unfortunately, it wasn't through the headphone.
Why didn't you say something?
Hell, I didn't realize it until we're kind of halfway through it. I could hear you, so I figured you just had the volume turned down low or something. I don't know. You know, when you get old, you don't really give a shit, and you don't even think about stuff like that too much.
Yep, you just power through it, I guess.
Yeah, you just suck it up and move on.
Suck it up and drive on.
So how was your trip with? I mean, not a trip, but you and Brenda went to see Sting. Like,
Yeah, it was a great concert. Last time we had seen him was maybe 7, 8 years ago, maybe.
uh huh,
And I think it was just like a one-off concert that they had at ACL Austin City Limits, the theater. But this time it was a full-blown tour, and it was at the new Moody Center, which is on the UT campus, right next to the Darrell K. Royal Stadium. But we had fourth row. We were pretty close. He sang all of the hits, the Police hits, his solo hits. It was a good show. He played like 22, 23 songs. It was a
oh
good
wow!
concert.
Look at the pictures that you sent. Looks like Brenda was having a good time.
Oh yeah, she was having a ball. She
Yeah,
she loves the Police. She loves Sting. Everybody loves the Police.
yeah. It's it's kind of funny. This morning I was on the back porch. I was just piddling around drinking my coffee, and I don't know. On one of the reels picked up. When you do on Facebook type thing, I started listening to Creedence Clearwater. Made me think of your mom and Amy and back in the times and stuff like that. And I ended up ordering a CD. Yeah,
Man,
but
growing up, that was about the only rock and roll that you listened to.
yeah, well, I like Chuck Berry. I was listening to a lot of that this morning. And I
But
think
that was
Chuck
from the
Berry.
'50s. At least Credence was from like the late '60s, early '70s.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Chuck Berry is one of the first and the leaders of rock and roll to get these guys doing some of the things. That he was quite a musician and artist. I mean, he put on a show. Then you can see that as the time went on, 50s and 60s, to the different groups, and as the music developed and the groups grew and stuff like that.
Well, he and Elvis were definitely innovators and showmen. I think they
Yeah,
showed what
absolutely.
you could and should do in rock and roll and how it was different from everything else. And it was a
Right.
rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah. And then listen to Creedence Clearwater a revival this morning. I mean, they did a little bit of everything, and it doesn't sound like a little country, but they had a little country in it. And I look,
Had a
you,
little bit of
you could,
everything.
yeah, you can see the progression as music grows and continues to grow, and kind of get back to the roots with when you have your your basic stuff and with your guitars and all that kind of stuff, the blues and a little all that mixed into it.
You're not going to believe this when you now that you mentioned the blues, but going back to the late '60s, early '70s when rock and roll was starting to get heavier. A lot of today's hard rock, heavy metal, whatever you want to call them, like Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, they all started out in the late '60s, early '70s as blues bands, or at least blues influenced rock and roll. And
Right.
it just kind of progressed from there, as well as both bands are from as they say in England, Birmingham, the Birmingham area, or as we say in America, Birmingham. It was a very industrial city, metal presses and metal works and whatnot. And that sound that came out of those factories influenced that hard rock sound from those bands that came out of there. So, like you said, you got Chuck Berry, in the 50s, Elvis, and they carrying it into the blues, and then heavy metal comes out of the blues, believe it
And
or not.
it's amazing. It's not amazing, but it's interesting how all these rock and roll stars, how they intermix with each other. Like this one, I was watching that one video clip with Chuck Berry. He had John Lennon on,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing them together, you would not think John Lennon would have anything to do with Chuck Berry or vice versa, and all those kind of things. But musicians have a tendency to all hang together, and they all respect each other's work. I would like to say.
Yeah, they do. You need to watch a lot more interviews and concert footage. Like the people who show up to other people's concerts and whatnot backstage, you'd be like, I'd never consider that. But yeah, they do. They, like you said, they respect each other as musicians, as artists, and sometimes they like the music.
Yep, it's interesting. Sometimes going back and watch some of the old stuff and watching the how the different genres intermix with each other, and the stars, and like on one of them, I forgot who it was now, that maybe it was Creedence Clearwater. I can't remember that who it was, but anyway, they had Winona and there was doing a song with him and stuff like that. You never think, I forgot who the rock and roll star was, but he's a big guy.
Okay.
And Winona and her mother just happened to be in the audience. I'm sure it was pre-planned and those kind of things. And so he invites her down, and they did a couple songs and all that kind of stuff together.
Speaking of old artists and blues based and whatnot, did you know the Rolling Stones just released a new album?
Yeah. I didn't know John Fogerty is still alive.
Yeah, John Fogerty's still alive.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about him. This morning, just sat out there on the back porch, listening to the music and stuff like that. It was really interesting. Sometimes
Yep,
we
John
just need.
Fogerty. He's close to your age.
I think he's a year younger than I am.
And Mick Jagger from the Stones, I think, is a year older than you.
Who's that?
Mick Jagger from the Stones.
Oh yeah.
He's a year older than you. And they're getting ready. They're probably going to go out on tour. And I tell you what, if they come, you and we got to go check out the Stones before it's all over and done with.
All right.
What do you say?
We'll do it.
We're going to see the Stones?
We'll do it.
All right. You said it. We're doing it.
So did you get any feedback on our pineapple on the pizza feedback?
That's what it was. I could not remember what I was supposed to do the Twitter poll on. And I kept like, I got to go back and listen to the episode. I got to go back and I kept forgetting, man. I've been busy. God, it's been so busy at work because it's that time of the year where our civilian appraisals are done. We got to get them done. So I'm helping people write theirs, and then I have to grade them and then get them to the higher level reviewer, and then she's got to review them, and it's just been busy. And then I'm going to Hawaii tomorrow morning for the week, and it's going to be a long flight, like 6.5, 7 hours from Phoenix to Honolulu. That's a long time to be in there.
So you're going to Hawaii for a week?
Yeah, for the week.
And you're just not telling me?
Didn't I tell you when you were here when the girl?
No.
I think I did.
You told me about your trip to Washington D.C. and that was the last one we had.
And then I think I said I was going to Hawaii next.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm going to Hawaii.
I'm not getting that old yet.
Yeah, so anyway, you are.
Anyway, we'll have to throw out there somewhere down the road, talk about pineapple on a pizza. See what kind of feedback we get on it.
You know what? Now you've inspired me. I'm going to go right now to Twitter. So keep talking.
All right.
Keep talking. Get us. Yeah. So, we don't want a lot of dead space.
Well, a little bit of
So
good
I need you to
news from
talk.
our DAV chapter. I think I posted some pictures. We finally got that transport vehicle in that our chapter had bought and paid for Audie Murphy. It's really nice. I posted some pictures on Facebook and on our website. It's fully air conditioned, and it's nice in it inside with the air conditioning. It's got little small fans that rotate, and you can position them and stuff like that. So that way, in the summertime, people, the veterans and their families from the parking lot into Audie Murphy, be able to stay cool. In the wintertime, they'll be able to stay warm. Really, really nice vehicle. And on November 7th at 10 o'clock, and we're going to have a little dedication ceremony. So if anybody listens to us and want to come to Audie Murphy and be a part of that, we'd like to have you. Like I said, November 7th at 10 o'clock. It's on a Tuesday morning.
Okay.
We're going to have a little ceremony and stuff like that. And they're going to put the pictures of DAV logos and those kind of things on the vehicle for us. So we're excited about that. It's one of the ways that DAV Chapter 14 helps pay back to veterans for what they've done and for the spouses and family members if they need service, especially at the Audie Murphy. I'm pretty proud of that. That's something that you and I worked on when you were the treasurer and I was the commander of our particular chapters. Only took us about a year and a half with all the stuff that they had to go through, but we finally got it done. Really nice.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. I need to save them, and I'll post them on our Twitter feed, or you could post them on our Twitter feed. You have the account information to log in there and do it. You should be doing that kind of stuff.
Well, one of these days I get around to doing it. Next week, they're going to go ahead and put it into operation. So I'm going to swing by next week and take some pictures of, well, as soon as they get back with all the logo on it, they said they were hopefully be done next week. So to do that, I'll take some pictures to show that. I'm pretty excited and pretty proud of what our chapter, what our members have done for that.
Speaking of which, you need to maybe take some video of it as well with the wrap and show some inside and outside kind of stuff. And,
yeah, I will.
Because when we put that out on,
yeah,
when we put that out on the socials, and we can hashtag it with DAV and veterans and all that kind of stuff, we can draw more support towards these efforts and causes. So when people are out and they see the veteran service organizations like DAV, VFW, American Legion, or the Association of Purple Heart, when they're out trying to collect money for veterans, maybe some of these people will be touched by that and want to give so they can give back to veterans.
And our Vice Commander Louis Rayner, who's in charge of rifles and things like that for us, he had posted that on the Purple Heart chapter he's a member, and boy, they were really excited about it. And we're going to have a raffle coming up here pretty soon. We're going to raffle off a 75-inch. I can't remember now. I think it's a Samsung smart TV.
Ooh, I like Samsung TVs.
We're going to raffle off a really nice barbecue grill pit, and a $250 gift certificate from HEB.
Okay.
The raffle $10, and we'll have that raffle drawing in February. So
nice.
We're excited about that. And the good thing about those fundraisers that we have like that, half of that money will go to national to help veterans at that level, and the other half stays in our chapter to help us do things that we want to do to help local veterans and stuff like that. And one like the scholarships that we got. One of them is for your daughter, and we got 3 other veterans that we're given scholarships to help them with their schooling and finances. And the good part of that is that they can use that money as they need to use it for themselves and buy books or whatever it is that they need. So there's a lot of things that DAV and of course the VFW and all the other veterans groups do to help veterans out. Things that we just need to do, and I'm glad that the 204 is part of that process.
I am too. I really am. And, I got all of what I am from you, the drive and whatnot to take care of people, to care about people. I learned all that from you,
Well,
from your service.
And I learned it from your mom, your grandmother and grandfather, and on both sides of the family. They were just good people, and they gave back. And then your uncles and how they served and what they did. Uh, it's all about what we do to help take care of each other.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. It's all about family. I'm gonna tell you, I enjoyed that visit last weekend with your granddaughters coming down. That was a lot of fun, huh?
It was. It really was a lot of fun. Making the pizzas, trying to get them into the pizza oven without them, the dough sticking and getting all kinds of wonky. It was
trying to keep that pizza round instead of oblong.
Yeah, trying to make I got a newfound appreciation for people who work in pizzerias, and they're making the dough and they're tossing it in the air and like, nope, I don't know how to do it, and it would mess up and look ugly if I did it.
But the girls had fun, and that's what it's all about. It's creating memories that they'll carry on with them, and they'll talk about when we're gone, and they have their children and grandchildren. That's what makes life fun, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to know, it's Ooni, OONI.com. They make great pizza ovens. They have like a ceramic stone that you cook the pizza on. It cooks a pizza in about under a minute.
Yeah.
Because it gets up to like 900 degrees inside there. You just get you a couple of pizza peels to turn them so they don't burn, and then pull them back out. And like I said, in less than a minute, you can make a pizza.
But I gotta give you credit. You're getting pretty good at that, you old fart. It's fun watching it. Now Brenda, she got the touch. She knows what the hell she's doing.
Yep, she knows how to get it on and get just enough flour on it to where it doesn't stick to the pizza peel, so it'll come off easier in the oven.
Yep. Well, I got to tell you, when we're talking about football, I was watching Ohio State last night and Notre Dame. Boy, that was a heck of a football game. Went right down to the last seconds of the ball game. My friend Ernie and I were talking back and forth. Of course, he's a big Ohio State fan, and I'm not a big Notre Dame fan, especially since we were that 0-0 tie and all that kind of stuff. But I like old Marcus Freeman, the coach there. I like what he's doing with the boys and how he's running that program. Kind of rooting for him just a little bit towards the end there.
I can't ever root for Notre Dame in the stolen national championship in 1966.
Yeah. And that LSU game, that was a good game. LSU and Arkansas, it went down to the wire.
Oh man, I was rooting for Arkansas. They were looking good.
Yeah,
KJ Jefferson, man, he's something special.
Yes, he is. I like the coaches. I like how they, especially Sam Pittman. I like how
I like him a lot.
I like the way he talks to his boys, how he runs a program, and it's not about him. It's about the boys, and that's what it should be for us. That way, you're teaching these young men and young women in those sports how to be good adults and good citizens, and that's going to last them for their lifetime.
And a good teammate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it isn't all about individual effort. It is a team sport. It takes everybody to achieve.
Absolutely. One person can't do it. It takes everybody, and you can see that teamwork in the players when they do good and when they don't do good. Well, they still got each other's back. They're coaching themselves up. One of the things I like about sometimes on the TV, these guys will catch things on the sideline with the players, how they're interacting, and I think that's good. You can really see what the teamwork's all about.
But there's also a lot of life lessons that people who aren't playing sports like you and me that we can take from the game with, if a player's having a bad day, and he's making mistakes, if you got to think about the next play. You can't dwell on the mistake that you just made. You have to move past it. Otherwise, it's just going to bring you down.
Absolutely. You got to learn from it, the positives and not so positive things, and move on and try not to repeat those not so positive things and focus on. You can't let it control you.
Yeah, you got to have a short memory.
That's absolutely. Well, I got a short memory. Maybe that's why I'm good at what I do. Oh, man. But let me tell you, winning football, how many football coaches have got over a 700% winning average?
Didn't we go over this last week?
I don't know if we did or not, but there's 4 of them. At the top of the list is Frank Leahy.
These are coaches that are currently coaching, right?
No. These are all coaches, period.
All time.
All time. Frank Leahy, I think he's been gone for a while. Yeah, 864 average. Then Nick Saban was 804. Then there's a lot of them. You got Urban Meyer, Jordan Woodruff, Barry Switzer, Tom Osborne, Fielding Yost, Percy Houghton, Bob Nalen from Tennessee.
Is Bear Bryant in there?
Yep, Bear Bryant's in there. He's
Woody Hayes. Is Woody Hayes in there? Bo Schembechler.
Yep. Wallace Wade, Frank Cush. Woody Hayes is at a 759 average. And what I look at it, these guys have over 200 wins. Like Woody Hayes is 238. Bear Bryant 323. Then you Nick Saban 285. Then 255 for Tom Watson. I like that when Tom Watson was at Nebraska, and I like Bob Devaney when he was at Nebraska. He is an 806 average too when he was at Nebraska and Wyoming both. So think about all the life lessons that all those people have taught those players come along and what they do and how they do things. And it's really good.
So did you watch the Alabama game yesterday?
Do I?
Did you watch the Alabama game yesterday?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you.
That was a tale of two halves, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Halftime, I think Coach got somebody's attention. I think more the coaches than it was the players. You got new coaches and they want to do things, and he wants to do things his way, and all those kind of things. You got to have a little conversation at halftime. First time I've seen him on the sidelines with some emotion. Last week, you see a little bit, but not much. He didn't throw any headphones yesterday, the headsets, but you sure see it on his face and when you're walking and stuff like that. So
it's funny you mention that because a few of the sports personalities on TV, sports pundits and whatnot, they were all saying maybe it's time for Coach to break a headset or two. Because I think you hit the nail on the head. He hasn't been showing a lot of emotion to get those boys fired up. But I think that team meeting, the players only meeting they had after the South Florida game, a lot of people don't know that. But after the game, the players locked the locker room, no coaches, and they had a players only meeting. And I guess they all kind of had a meeting of the minds because there hasn't been any real leadership established amongst the players to keep people accountable. And I think you're starting to see that. Kevin Steele finally started playing defensive coordinator because I started seeing him dialing up blitzes. Defense was just playing lights out. And I haven't seen the defense that good in about 4 or 5 years at Alabama. Yeah, in that second half.
They really come alive, and you could just see it. And I'll tell you, I'm really torn on the quarterback situation. I like Jalen Milroe, and I think yesterday was a huge learning experience for him. And I see him, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I hope to see the maturity and development go along like we saw with him, and I see a little bit of Tua in Ty Simpson, the way he plays and stuff like that. So I can see that tie between those two players and those two former players and their leadership roles that they have with the teams and stuff like that. Watching that second half
Yeah,
yesterday really.
Jalen Milroe looked very comfortable in the second half, and I think they made some changes on the offensive line as well because he started getting more time to throw. So
Yes.
lot of critique and criticism. He holds onto the ball too long. He's not making his reads very good, but he is starting to make his reads better. I saw in the second half he was going one way and he didn't have anything, and as he was going to the right, he still didn't have anything, and then he came back to the left and he saw the open guy and he got the ball to him.
Right.
And we need the mobility that he has to roll out and keep and extend plays. So I think he did a much better job in the second half of deciding when to run, take what the defense gives you, not turn the ball over, and just play sound Alabama football. And I think that's what Saban's trying to get back to, but the quarterbacks just weren't making those steps forward.
And that's why I say he reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts. Uh, when he first started with him, when he first started at Alabama, you could see some of those traits in him. And, coming out of high school, it's kind of like where they play ball. And it takes a while to adjust and to learn and to buy into it. I tell you another game that I was watching last night that I was pleased with, even though the outcome wasn't what I was hoping for, and that was the UTSA in Tennessee.
Oh
Uh,
man, that was
they
that
got
was horrible.
they got beat to 35-14. But I'm gonna tell you, the program at UTSA and what they're building and where they're going, you can see those, and you got to get up there and play with the big boys if you want to learn and get better.
It was worse than that, Dad. It was 45-14.
45-14, yeah, 35 when I went back to the Alabama game, but to play in that league and the score. Um, I was watching the Bobcats play a little bit. They looked fairly well, especially in that first half last night.
They did
Uh,
not look good in that first half. They
yeah.
definitely got a talking to at the halftime because they came out and just went to town
Yeah.
on Nevada.
What
Went
was
to
the
town
final
on
score? I didn't get their final score.
Let me see.
And Nevada had a big lead at halftime, but which surprised me.
It was
But
35-24.
it's good to see those two programs playing and developing at the levels that they are developing at. Uh, it's good for the San Antonio area.
Oh, most definitely.
You know,
Because the coach at Texas State used to be at Incarnate Word last year, and he took the Incarnate Word team way deep in the FCF playoffs because theirs
yeah,
is a true bracket like the NCAA tournament.
right.
You play your way and you just win till you crown a champion. And I think he took them about halfway through.
Now, I don't remember the incarnate word, but at one point I thought
Yeah,
they
he,
were
he
winning
coached at
last.
Incarnate Word. And Jeff Trainer, UTSA's head coach, coached the Texas State coach in high school.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of cross ties between those two guys and the
yeah.
programs.
But it's good to see those local schools competing at the levels that they're competing at. Uh, at some point in time, those schools will get into the bigger divisions and do well. And by playing like Tennessee and the places, and it's going to help their recruiting process.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's. I think it was like a three-part thing. I think the athletic department wanted the game because UTSA got $1.6 million for that game. Two, there's national exposure for UTSA to expand their brand, on a national stage against, a really good SEC football team. And three, those players were exposed to elite talent, not to say that UTSA doesn't have great or elite talent, but I'm talking about across the board. Offense, defense, special teams, everywhere there's elite talent. And it's to show those kids, like, look, you can play against these guys.
Absolutely. And they learn from it. And that's what, back to your point earlier about team sports, they learn and they'll talk to each other. And you're right. When you're competing against a higher level of competition, because they are division, there are individual players who are just as good as other players. But on the team level, you're adjusting and you're adjusting up, and that's what makes it fun. And to see them grow, and like this backup quarterback last week, I didn't think he looked that good.
And I think they pulled him in the second half.
Yeah. So.
And I think that's when UTSA got some points.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to watch the game because it was competing against Alabama. So.
Yep.
And I didn't get to watch the Colorado game because it was competing against Alabama and UTSA.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of Colorado either.
And it did not look good.
No, I didn't. But you know what? You got to give Coach Prime credit. They're going into and they're building a program, and it goes back to what we're talking about now. If you want to get better, you got to play different.
You got to play better talent.
You got to get up there with the big boys and play. I guarantee you, Coach Prime is they're going to learn a lot from that game last night.
Yep, they will.
I think he's probably a pretty good coach and a good guy. And I like the way he's coaching. I was not a fan of him when he was playing ball, but watching him coaching at Jackson State and then this year at Colorado and what he's doing, I think he's doing a pretty good job. And what's fun is to see the players react to him. That's when you know you're making an impact. And that's kind of what I saw last night with Saban and all these coaches that we're talking about.
I agree.
Yeah. So.
And on that, if you look up in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, we got 32 minutes here.
Yeah.
Your aunt's going to be sending me an email, and we went over time.
Yep, and I did. Yep, and I didn't even at the beginning. I meant to do it. I got to start doing what everybody else does on their YouTube channels and podcasts. Like if you like us, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, make sure you share, spread the word, subscribe, like, spread the word. We're very happy. Yeah, we're very happy. I was just telling my wife yesterday, I'm so thankful that we're having an international reach, not just here in America or, in Canada. We've got a subscriber from Ontario, like every week doing downloads. I'm super pleased with that. So far this month, it won't take but just a second. We have had.
There were some pretty good numbers you'd give me.
Yeah. 28 from North America, or from the U.S., 3 from South Africa, 2 from Australia, 2 from Canada, 2 from Indonesia, 2 from Zimbabwe, and 1 from Guatemala.
All right.
So Central America, Canada, South Africa, Australia. Like, Dad, we're hitting continents now.
How many total downloads we've had so far?
2,864.
Okay. We're getting close to that 3,000 mark.
Yeah, we are. And this month, we're up 21% versus the same time last month for August.
That's good.
So, yeah, we're having more consistency, more downloads, but I think it's because we're posting more consistently. So, we're going to get better, people. I think we kind of got the technology issue solved. But at any rate, we're very thankful. We are the Two Old Farts. My name's Chuck.
I'm Lou, better looking at the Two Old Farts.
So again, hit like, hit subscribe, share, spread the word. We're very thankful that we have you. Please continue to listen and spread the word. Y'all take care.
You have a good trip. I love you, son.
Thanks, Dad. Love you too.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.